Hey now. Guess what, y'all? It's Friday. It is Friday. Christmas is right around the corner. To y'all who I didn't say Merry Christmas to you all. God to be done bless me Christmas Day to be 65 years old. And I am so grateful and so amazed as how he allowed us to change our lives and be better, to change our lives just to get better. And that right there is an amazing thing to me, to get better. So anyway, before we get started, let us take a moment of silence for the addicts who still suffer in and outside of the walls from addiction. We're talking about addiction tonight. We're talking about many things tonight. And I wanted to say to God, thank you for letting all the peoples all over the world change their lives, make differences, change their inner them. We need to work on the inner us. So I thank you. Moment of silence. My God, thank you. Thank you. Tonight I want to give a shout out to all the loved ones who have lost their children, their mothers and fathers, anyone that have lost someone to addiction. And it's a terrible loss because you don't get a chance to say goodbye. You don't get a chance to see what could have happened, but I thank God for you. I thank God for the parents, the daughters, the sons, the fathers, the mothers, nieces and nephews. Go on with your life and keep the memories alive. And then also I want to shout out to the 12 Steps of Narcotics Anonymous program for allowing something so beautiful and so great to come into our lives and for us to know the difference about the disease of an addiction. Also, I want to give a shout out to all the facilities all over the world who's helping people get their lives together, the counselors, the therapists. Thank you for them. Thank you for allowing us to get our lives together and see what the outcome would be. Hey, Robin, see what the outcome would be. I also want to thank the inpatient and outpatients, all the peoples who have helped another individual get their lives together and stay in their lives. Because, I got people that's still in my life from over 35 years ago. I got people in my life that's still helping me. I can still pick up the phone. I can still call people, and to me, that is so amazing because true friends, true help never dies. And I also want to say to the ones that's struggling, you don't have to struggle. Only reason why you struggling because you don't want to get acceptance, you don't want to deal with letting go, and you don't want to deal with self. And once you start learning how you have to let yourself get some acceptance and knowing that you will not win with drugs and alcohol at all. But if you think you did like I did, and my life got turned around, and your life got turned around due to drugs and alcohol. This addiction is very real. I hate this disease, and I say it all the time, and I'm going to continue to say it long as I put the words in my mouth that tells me that I hate this disease, and I never use again. I never will use again. And I'm grateful for that. I am so grateful that I had a commitment to myself, and that's the things that we're going to talk about tonight. We are talking about discipline. We're talking about accountability. We're talking about responsibilities tonight, to all the ones who come up on this broadcast. And if you can get one thing, or if you can get two things, whatever you can get out of this session, then so be it. I want to thank all my friends who come in. I I want to thank everybody who supports me, everybody that I support, and I want to thank y'all for allowing me to support myself through this conversation, through these things that I talk about. Because, see, drugs is real. I don't know if people think that this is just anytime you cut on the TV, anytime I get phone calls, anytime, I saw a young lady who lost her mother, and I just literally felt for this lady. And I told her I wish I could just reach my arms and give her a hug, because peoples are still grieving, definitely through the holidays. Ain't a holiday yet that I haven't grieved over my mother and my son. Ain't a holiday, but I have to learn that I have to play a key in keeping my self calm and realizing that I'm going to see them again. So tonight we are talking about addiction. Addiction is very real. And tonight I want to talk about how we allow ourselves to hit bottom. How we allowed ourselves to get to a point in our lives that we didn't care no more. How did we? Well, the drugs itself causes that. And it's called addiction, and it's called a disease. And I had to learn that I was tired, you were tired, and I had to learn that I wanted to see, what this 12-step program was about. And boy, did I get a ruling awakening. Boy, did I get a ruling awakening that taught me about me. Taught me about the steps, taught me how I wanted to live, taught me how sorry I was that I beat myself up, how y'all beat yourself up, and I also want to talk about how when you get clean, it ain't just about the drugs. It ain't just about the drug. It's all the little bitty hidden things that you've been holding on to, the secrets, letting go of. It's about cleaning up that closet. It's about understanding why you use, understanding what took you to the point that you wanted to keep using. Well, mine was, I didn't know how to deal with consequences. I didn't know how to deal with pain. I didn't know how to deal with letting go. I didn't know how to deal with getting help. I didn't know how to deal with asking for help. So I had to learn the hard way. I had to keep on using to keep seeing there wasn't nothing gonna change. Ain't nothing gonna change. Only person can change is you. And if you don't learn how to work on self and understand this disease of an addiction, you will hit and rock bottom. Ain't a nice place to be. It just ain't. Hitting rock bottom is not a place to be sitting down and you feel like you can't get up. Hitting rock bottom. And I had to learn that, when you get clean, things that used to send you to go get high, and things that used to discourage you, and things that used to hurt you, it become numb. When you get in recovery, these things that used to have you to run back and get high, it becomes numb. I'm in a place in my life now. I'm numb. I'm numb to hurt. I'm numb to what people expect. I'm numb to how people still holding you hostage, and how the drugs, is still holding our people's hostage, and you have to learn within yourself to accept the accountabilities of how you feeling and what road you want to take. Do you want to take the road that can cause you to death, slowly committing suicide? Because that's what we did. That's what you did, Robin. That's what I did. We just slowly was committing suicide, and it was just a matter of time before we got ourselves together. And so happened that God allowed us to get ourselves together. He allowed ourselves to find out who we really is, who we really are, what happened. What's going on in the past and then in the present? What happened that you didn't love yourself no more? What happened? The disease of an addiction stole that. It took it. Long as we kept putting it in our mouths and kept using and kept smoking, it did to us what it was supposed to do. Change our way of thinking, not caring, not loving on ourselves. But see, today I love on myself because, see, I'm so proud of me. I don't wait on nobody to tell me how proud they are of me. I'm proud of what I've accomplished and all the amenities that came with it. I am so proud that I learned how to understand this disease of an addiction. And I had to learn that in order to free myself, in order to learn about this addiction was the biggest point in my life. I had to understand the addiction. I had to understand the disease of an addiction. And when I finally got it down packed, I knew I had cheated myself all these years, letting the drugs, bringing the drugs, and putting it in me, and let it, turn my life around. So hitting bottom, isolating myself, not caring. We get to a point. I had to say, I'm not ready to die yet. I wasn't ready to die. I wanted to see what my life would turn out to be when I got better. And this is why we have the program, the 12 Steps of Narcotics Anonymous. I am so grateful to that because I had no idea how I was going to change my life until the God of my understanding came. He was always in my life, but until I let him in, until I really let him in, he came into my life and started talking to me. But see, now I can hear because now I'm clean. Now I'm on the path of goodness. You get on the path of goodness, you feel better, you think better, you see clearer, you understand things that happen. Things is going to happen. Baby, let me tell you something. Things will happen. Seem like as soon as we get clean, more things happen than ever. Seem like people do things to us. Seem like we do things to us. We still make mistakes, but we ain't using. See, that's the difference. We ain't using. So when you ain't using, then you can see the light. You can see things different that comes into your life and change your life and turn your life around. But I had to hit rock bottom. I had to understand that I was powerless. And I wanted to find out why I was powerless. I wanted to understand this disease of an addiction. And why do I keep choosing it over life? At one point in time, I didn't want to live. That's just how bad it had gotten. I didn't want to live. I wanted to just die because I was so disappointed in me. I was so angry with me. I was so let down with me. I was so hurt with me. So I had to find a way to deal with all them issues, not just the drugs. See, the drug is the biggest issue, but the rest of them come behind it. The amenities of, me not wanting to do better. Me not wanting to change my life. But it comes a part in time in your life that you're going to have to change something, because when your life become unmanageable, then that means unmanageable. That means you stop doing everything that you was doing that was right, and you stop doing it. And so that's how your life become unmanageable, and I was setting up reservation all the time to go back and use, setting up registration to go back and use. Hey, my auntie Evelyn Morgan Williams is on. Hey, auntie, seem like life is, so glad to see you. I know you'll see me when you can, and I love you. And, boy, it seems like before you know it, this New Year is finna be gone. It's finna be a whole nother year, but we come to the point in our life to where we don't have to fight issues that we have no control over, and that's what I've learned. I've learned how to let go. I have to, when we get into recovery, it's very crucial that your surroundings and the way you think, we are responsible for all our actions. We can't hold nobody else accountable. When we was using, we hold every mistake, every person that hurt us, everything that stopped us from doing the things that we wanted to. And most of it was the drugs and the alcohol. I did it all. So I understand that the disease of an addiction will take you other places you never been. Been that route too. So I had to get an understanding in my life that either I want to live or I want to die. And do I want to die because of drugs, or do I want to live because I'm free? I had to understand them things. And, you know, the drugs, having the reservations to keep on using, having the reservation to, you know, want to do right, but then I turn around and do it all over again. And that's the disappointment that we find. That's the disappointment we find when we are on the road of getting ourselves together. Because, see, can't nobody do it for you. I'm going to tell you that one now, because I wanted to know why I could not stop using. You know, it wasn't no hope shot for me. That hope was gone. You know, that hope was gone until I learned how to bring it back to me. You know, hope was gone, man. I just didn't care no more. And I had to start believing in things that I could not see. I had to start believing in me. I had to start believing in the program. I had to start believing in me wanting to do right and get my life together and be better than I was, because I was a hot mess and y'all was too. You know, so coming to this point of a power greater than ourselves to change our lives is amazing. It's very amazing to me. You know, and we come a long ways, everybody. You know, people think it's not a big deal that you get clean. It's not a big deal that you change your life. It's not a big deal that you are on the right track. I don't want to hear that no more. We come to believe that, you know, and coming to believe that all things pass away and good things is ahead of us. It's got to be. It's got to be better than what it was. You know, and so my thinking has brought me a long ways. Deanna, tell them to stop it. If I hear it again, all that tasing noise. What is that? Oh, that's me. Yeah, I figure it was. You know, so we have to learn coming to a part in our lives that what's more important? What's more important? Getting high, still drinking, still going to people's places and things that's going to cause us pain later on. What's more important? And what was important for me was getting to know who I really was. What should be important for you is knowing who you really are. And finding out what can you do to be better than you were. And it's easy. Stop using. You're never going to get that answer if you don't stop using. Never will you get it. You got to have a clear mind to want to do something different. You got to have a clear mind to change the way you think. You got to have a clear mind of making better decisions. It's got to come from self-will. Self-will means letting go. Self-will means trying something different that you haven't tried before to get to where you need to get to. So that's why I say you got to have self-will enough to understand the difference. If we don't put the drugs and alcohol in us, if we don't take the pills, if we don't shoot the heroin, if we don't take the fentanyl, if we don't mess with all the drugs that's dangerous and can harm us, where you think we going to end up? That's why so many of my friends is gone. So many people have died. Some of them was clean and some of them went back to using, you know, but the disease of an addiction didn't stop. It didn't stop. It didn't stop with them. And it didn't stop with us. So we have to turn things over in our lives in order to get the results that we're looking for. If you don't get the results that you're looking for, you stuck. You still stuck. and I had to turn it over. I had to turn it over to the God of my understanding and to the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous, because that's why I'm here. That's why I came in. I came in to make a difference. I came in to change my life. I came in to see the possibilities of what could be that was different from what was. So I went from that to this only because I turned it over. Only because I knew I had to do better, and it wasn't just for my kids. It was for me. I had to learn how to stop cheating me. We have to learn how to let go of what people think about us. See, the mistakes we made, nobody is perfect. And all of us have made some mistakes. Believe me, even the best have made mistakes. I made a bunch of them. But I had to learn to move from the mistakes I made, because if I didn't move from the mistakes I made, I was going to keep creating new mistakes. And I was tired of making mistakes after mistakes after mistakes, lying, searching for a reason to get high, never letting things go. Keep, dreaming bad dreams. And man, I was a hot mess. I had to take a more inventory of myself to learn that when you take an inventory of yourself, you're going to come up with some things that you didn't even think about before that cause you to keep getting high. For one, I didn't want to stop. That's the biggest thing. I didn't want to stop. When I got high, I felt good. When you got high, you felt good. When you took a drink, you felt good. Anything that you took to put in you to change your mood or the way you think, that's why we continue to get high. So taking an inventory of myself was a must. I had to take an inventory of myself in order to find out what's wrong with Renee. Holding resentments doesn't work. Holding resentments against people that hurt you or you hurt them, holding resentments never work. You have to let go. But see, I learned the difference. I can hold on to a resentment, but then I'm stuck. I ain't got better. But then letting go of the resentments and still loving a person from afar, because that's what God wants us to do, I had to learn the difference. I had to learn the difference. And I had to go on feelings. We come into recovery, and the biggest thing that I realized that I dealt with coming in recovery was feelings. The feelings of being hurt, the feelings of the way kids talk to you, the feelings of no hope, feelings of no structure for yourself, feelings of still searching, trying to find a way to run from all these feelings and all these disappointments that I created for me. But once you start taking accountability and start searching on why you keep running, why you don't look at things for the way it really is because that's what the disease of an addiction want us to do. It want us to stay stuck. It want us not to understand the disease. And that is the disease. The disease want us to still feel bad, still be held hostage, still don't let go, still find a way to find a reason to get high. And I don't need a reason. I didn't need a reason to get high. I'm telling you straight up, I didn't need no reason to get high. I got high because of anything I thought of or anything that I wanted to do, I got high. You don't need a reason to get high. We make excuses, but I didn't need a reason to get high. It just felt good. And forget about how I was really feeling in the inside. It was what I took in for that moment. So I didn't have to remember. I didn't have to hide. I was tired of just letting me down. I was tired of the rock bottoms. I was tired of seem like when I make one move or I make a decision to turn my life over, and then all of a sudden there I'm back getting high again, or I'm back taking a drink again, but this time it was something different. If this time it was something amazing that happened to me. I got tired. When we get tired, we make things happen. When we get tired, we understand and we paying attention and we learning and we listening more instead of talking. I learned that. I learned that feelings is going to always be a part of our recovery, and that's what we got high off of, feelings. But once you get clean, you can still feel, and then it cannot be the right feeling. It can be other feelings, but we don't have to get high no more. So that's the thing I learned. I learned about guilt. I learned about shame. How guilt and shame will keep you using. Oh, yes, it will. Guilt and shame. Who wouldn't be ashamed? How people call us crackheads and dope fiends. Who wouldn't be ashamed once we look in the mirror and see that we no longer have control? Who wouldn't be ashamed and holding on to guilt because of all the things we had done? No. Who wouldn't be? I was holding on to shame, guilt, hurt, acceptance, didn't want to let go. I was. Hey, Tim. Beeman, how you doing? I was. I didn't need no excuse. I had already made a million excuses and still was getting high. So I had to learn, what is the problem? The problem was me. That's the problem. The problem was me, because I was running from me. All I wanted to do was get high, be around the house, or wait till summertime come and go out in the alleys, chase drugs, go to the door, get drugs, let you come to my house and give you the money so you can take something that I worked so hard for. Hey, I had to learn about me. The guilt and shame kept me getting high. I'm telling you right now, the guilt and shame will keep you. Guilt and shame is keeping you from some of the people that's struggling, don't want to come in right now. Don't want to let go of the alcohol, thinking you're missing something. But see, what the unknown things you don't know is, what is it doing behind the scenes in the inside of your body? Destroying. I know people right now who drink every day. People's alive and drink every day. I had a guy I was talking to. He seemed to be kind of cool, but I'm slow motion anyway. And I went to see him and I realized he got an alcohol problem. I couldn't deal with it. I can't. You drink, I don't. I can't deal with it. And you drink every day. I'm talking about anybody that drinks every day. I don't know how nobody can do. I don't even know how nobody dealt with me, to be honest. I don't know how nobody dealt with me being on crack, popping pills, drinking, getting high. I don't know how people's dealt with me. They had to see through me. They had to. Because I didn't see through me. All I know, I use from guilt, shame, and my feelings, my emotions, had me captured to a drug that didn't even like me, but needed me to like it. And that's what I done. I fell in love with drugs and alcohol. And I promise I feel so sorry when I see people's drinking, and the women's, and that's mothers and, fathers, they got kids, and the drugs still haven't changed. You still using, but I can't control that. And that's one thing God had to really work on me. Renee, you can't save nobody. That's my job. You can't change the way people think, Renee. That's my job. Renee, you can't change how people's hurt you. That's my job. And once I got it, once I learned that I don't want to go back to using. On no circumstance. Let me deal with everything I got to deal with. Let me deal with hurt. Let me deal with guilt. Let me deal with shame. Let me deal with responsibilities. Let me deal with acceptance. But I do not want to use. I don't ever want to go back to using. I would never go back to using again. Never. I don't care how I feel. I don't care what I'm going through, y'all, and I go through something. Y'all just don't see it. I learned through recovery that people don't have to see your pain because you already know your pain. Ain't nobody got to see it. And the God of my understanding, he the only one that can fix it. He the only one that I can turn to and say, God, it's too much for me. You know, I turn it over. I'm tired of fighting the past. I'm tired of people putting down on me about things that happened in the past. I'm tired. So what you do, you have to remove yourself. Like they perfect. Like your friends, your associates, they think that they perfect. Everybody that's human is going to make mistakes. And I done seen people's in recovery make mistakes. I'm one of them. So I know people's, when we use and we make many, many mistakes. But when we clean, we barely make so many mistakes. That's the difference. That's the difference. I'm not letting nobody hold me hostage. The drugs, I done finally learned about the disease of an addiction, and it had me hostage, like in captivity. I'm not going that route. I'm not going that route. I ain't trying to people please you no more. I ain't trying to make you like me no more, because my recovery is crucial. It's crucial in my life. And you don't understand it because you still using. I'm not. I don't smoke weed. I don't drink. I don't do none of that. Guilty for smoking a cigarette every now and then. And that's a habit too I gotta let go of. I keep it very honest. Because if I'm not honest with me, how can I be honest with you all? I can't. And the only way, and you know what I found out too, that sometimes being honest will cause people to hurt you. Sometimes being honest, people will fault you for their own mistakes. Sometimes being honest separate you from family. Sometimes being honest will separate you from friends and associate when you being honest. Because see, I done lied to myself so long, you done lied to yourself so long, is when you start realizing that you want to be free from everything. You want to be free from holding resentments. You want to be free from, hurting yourself. You want to be free from understanding that you didn't get clean to please everybody. You didn't get clean to please everybody. I didn't get clean to please nobody but me. I used my kids for a minute. It was all about them. But then it became about me because I had to work on me. Working on you in recovery is a job. How many of you think that you all of a sudden been using all these years and all of a sudden you got to work on you? Hey, the step tell you got to work on you. Find a solution to find what's going on with you. That's a job. Because now you got to get honest. Now you got to tell the truth. Now you got to open the door to some pain. Now you got to look at what pain you caused. Now you got to look on your behavior. Now you got to look at your character defect. What happened in the midst of you using? What did you create? A monster? I was a walking zombie acting like a monster. I just wasn't breaking things and tearing up things, but in the inside I was fighting a war with drugs, a war with my mind, a war with my own pain. So when you come into recovery and they tell you you got to work on yourself, you got to work on the fear, you got to work on relationships, that was broken, and the fear of how you run and keep running. You have to learn how to work on abusing yourself, being abused, because we abused ourselves with the drugs and the alcohol. Yes, we did. And don't let nobody tell you didn't. Yes, we did. Because if somebody else had did the things to us that we did to ourselves, we wouldn't allow it. Because I don't allow it now that I'm clean. Yeah, I paid the price. I came in and worked on myself. Y'all, we have to come in. Holding secrets is another thing. I was good in holding secrets all my life. I was good in holding secrets all my life. And I know now that's why I used. Holding secrets. Didn't want nobody to know how I'm feeling. Didn't nobody know that I'm scared that I'm going to die because I'm using. Didn't want nobody to know I didn't believe in myself no more. Didn't want nobody to know that I didn't know how to let go. Want nobody to know, yeah, I'm that crackhead. I'm that dope fiend. I'm everything you said it would be. But I found something amazing that happened. I wanted to get out of the dark place. I was in dark places too long. The dark place had become so dark that I never thought I would see light again. I always thought my life would be dark because I stayed in the wilderness too long. I was using too many drugs. I was popping too many pills. I was drinking too much to where I couldn't even stop. Facing the fears, I had to learn how to face the fears of me. I had to learn how to deal with, some things that really hurt me, some things that really shook me, some things that really took me over the edge. I had to learn how to deal with that. And the only way I can learn how to deal with it was admitting that I had a problem, and then accepting accountability to find out why I had the problem. And then once I found out why I had the problem, what am I going to do to work on the problem? What am I going to do to solve and find a solution for the problem? So I had to work on some things. And people think getting clean and working on yourself and allowing yourself to feel whether it hurts or not is not a job. It's a job for recovering addicts. It's a job. It's a job when you want to take a drink and you want to get high, and that inner thinking tells you that you'll be okay. Just try one more. Just take one more. And then the other person, the God of my understanding was like, nope, that's what got you there. That's what got you started. The first one got you started, Renee. The first one, if you take that drink, if you get high, you done lost all your clean time. You're going right back to where you are, because now you're picking up the same habits. You're picking up the same letdowns that you have done to yourself over a minute. So I had to admit to God. I'm so glad that God stepped in my life. Y'all just don't know. Sometime I be in this house and I cut on me some music and I'll be thanking God because of where I was, and then I was that, and now I'm this, and I look at where I was, and then I look at where I am. That's to me amazing that God can come into your life through the 12-step program, and you got both of them you got to work with. You got to work with God, honey. You got to work with him. And then you got to work on the steps to find out how can you get better. So I had to admit to God some things that I didn't want to admit. I can admit it in my mind, but this time I admitted it by saying it, by me hearing it, by me living it. I had to get different. I had to get dirty. I had to get down and dirty honest with myself, because I know one thing that I learned. I know. Hey, Latrice, I learned one thing. I learned that I'm not people pleasing no more. That too kept me getting high. That too kept me not wanting to find the truth about myself. You know, people pleasing. I was tired of that. So when I got in and came in clean, that was the biggest thing that I work on. Not trying to nurture nobody, not trying to please nobody. Every time I please somebody, they turn around and still hurt me after I done said I'm sorry, forgive me, and you still want to hold me. Okay, let me put my absence away. You probably don't care. I'm not doing it for you, no way. I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it to keep my circle safe. My circle has to be saved. Because, see, I can go back and pick up the behaviors that I worked on so long and worked on so much to change. So I had to learn that. I had to learn that you cannot keep thinking I'm a doggone yo-yo. Because I didn't get clean to become nobody yo-yo. I was my own yo-yo. I can go up and down, up and down. I did that every day, some 365 times in a year. Every day I was my own yo-yo. Every day I was my own yo-yo. So now that I get clean, you know, I had to learn to just step away. Money don't never make nobody. Oh, it'll give you your wants. It'll give you your needs. But what's missing? After you get the money, after you get the houses, after you get the car, money in the bank, what's still missing? You still ain't happy. Because unless you find out the inner happiness relies in you and not in material things, then guess what? You still stuck. My God, you still stuck. So I had to learn how to get butt naked truthful in this program. And anybody know me, I don't play with the program. I don't. Program been too good to me. And the only way I can say thank you to the program is to be honest with the program. To be honest. I didn't come in here, you know, some people, you know, I see, you know, that's why they get hurt, because they come in to please somebody else. See, that was one of my habits, you know, trying to please everybody, acting like I'm okay, you know, take what you did to me over and over. You apologize and I forgive you over and over. You know, I keep nurturing you, but you still my pain. You still causing me pain. While I'm still trying to nurture you, you still causing me pain. You still holding me for something that happened years, even in my addiction, because I was a hot mess in my addiction. I looked good, felt good, but wasn't good inside. I wasn't good inside. So I had to admit to God that I needed some help. I couldn't do this by myself. I didn't know nothing about the disease of an addiction. But now that I know, now that it's all got to do with us and how you look at yourself and how you perceive yourself, how I don't need nobody reservations to hold me captured. I don't need that. I'm not going, hey, Blanche, my best friend, hey, Blanche, I don't need nobody to hold me hostage ever again. Now you can do it, but I'm not on that. I'm not on that. I worked on myself too much and to know the difference. I know. That's why I told you, I said, man, you know, 6 more days, I'll be 65 years old. Christmas Day. And I sat on my bed last night and just cried. Missing mama, missing my son. Looking back over my past. How I wonderfully turned my life around. Wonderfully. I turned my life around. Because for the first time in my life, I meant something good for me, and that was change. I see my sister Evangelist Selena Green is on. Sister, you're late, girl. She comes on Tuesday night. Y'all want to get blessed with some spiritual intake? 7 o'clock. Selena Green, Evangelist Selena Green. I had to learn I am so different. Look, when you get different, when you become different, you look back at yourself and you say, the thing that used to worry me, bother me, kept me up at night, couldn't sleep, the thing that used to have me turning in the bed, the thing that used to have me walking the floor, God, I know I done changed because I don't let that happen. I do not let that happen no more in my life. It can be one person or two people in your life still ain't accept you for who you are. How much you have changed. They don't care because they ain't changed. They still the same. They ain't worked on nothing. I had to learn how to please me. I had to learn how the disease of an addiction worked. I had to learn how to let God come into my life and take the steering wheel and start driving. Because I was crashing a lot. And I was tired of crashing a lot. I needed God. And he is somebody that ain't going to disappoint you. He is somebody that ain't going to laugh at you. He is somebody that ain't going to judge you. He is somebody that he won't tell you disappoint him. He won't keep lying on you. He won't keep throwing things on Facebook or saying things, but yet you tell somebody you love them. Yet you tell somebody you love them when it's convenient for you. Well, guess what? I changed. I changed. And I had to change. Because if I didn't change the same things that broke me, it was the same things that'll take me back. And I had to learn, God, when I tell you it's too much, that's how you know it's too much, because I turn it over to you. And, I don't want to deal with it. I have to learn how to control my atmosphere. I have to learn. Nobody else have to learn about Renee. I had to learn all about me. And people think that's not a job. People think that when we come into recovery, that wasn't no job. Tell them, Blanche. Tell them, Robert. Tell them, Latrine, that's a job. Because the thing that used to piss you off now done made you stronger. The thing that used to hold you hostage and you go get high, you deal with it. So I deal with everything. When I go to bed at night, God is too big, take it. These are my exact words. Every night I go to God. Anything that's coming towards me, God, that I can't see, even the unseen thing, God, take it. It's too big for me. Because I know my setbacks. I know what can set me back. I know in my motivation about me, what I worked on, I can change that in any minute, in any given day. The habits that I created. The character that I brought to myself. I don't want to ever go back. I hate this disease. I don't like the disease. I don't like drugs and alcohol. That's why I keep them out of my life. I ain't never dealing with no person that's, if God ain't got nobody for me, I have to deal with that. But to deal with somebody that's on drugs and alcohol that want to, argue, that is not me. I've been through that all myself. And that's why I had to talk to other human beings about how I was feeling. That's why I had to get a sponsor and talk to my sponsor. Some of these people don't even know what sponsorship is. They'll call you and say, Renee, can you be your sponsor? I said, well, we need to meet, or we need to have some, table talks. We need to do some worksheets. We need to do, you don't hear from them no more. You don't hear from them no more. Some of these people don't know what sponsorship is. You just want to make yourself look good to say you got a sponsor, but you still jiving and lying. I ain't got time for it. That's why I ain't trying to sponsor everybody. If I would sponsor everybody that I go to a meeting and they ask me, or somebody that wants me to sponsor, or somebody call and say, Renee, can you sponsor? I tell them no right off the bat. No. I said, I need to see you. I need to see you at some meetings. I need to see you. Why should I sponsor you when you ain't even giving the best of you? I'm not finna go through that. These people got sponsorship mixed up. Because sponsorship means you working on something. You really want to find out the issues within yourself. And see, I worked on myself. God knows I did. I gave up everything that I thought was against me. I gave up everything. I gave up lying. I gave up manipulating. I gave up trying to nurture everybody else. I gave up. So when I tell you it's a job when you come into recovery and you start working on yourself, and then when you come into recovery and stay in recovery and still working on yourself, still can't, some things, sometimes our own family members, sometimes our friends and associates can bring the worst out of us. That didn't go away. We just found a new way to keep it calm. And see, when I get like that, when I get like something is bothering me, then I know it's too big for me. So I can't carry it no more. I'm not going to carry it no more. I had to learn that. I had to really learn. And then I had to find out what was the exact natures of my wrongs. It was many. I had many wrongs. I did many things wrong. I caused many things wrong. I caused damage when I didn't even have to cause damage. I was just a garbage can throwing trash back in me, back and forth. Trash. Until I learned one thing about me. I wanted to be free from drugs and alcohol. I wanted to find out, why do I have to use drugs and alcohol and pills like I do? Why do I depend on a chemical dependency to bounce me up and down and take me to places that I know that I didn't enjoy being in? So I had to turn my life around. And if I can turn my life around, what is it with y'all? Why y'all can't turn y'all life around? If you're really working on a program and really see yourself for who you were, then you will become willing and open and to change the way you think and the way you act and the things you do. So I was entirely ready. I had to ask myself, Renee, what are you entirely ready for? What, Renee? What is you entirely ready for? Change. I'm entirely ready for change, God. Any way I got to do it, I'm entirely ready for change. I've been in the bottom too long. I'm entirely, Lord, ready. I'm entirely, God, ready for you to change my life. I'm giving up. I can't hold on no more. I'm drowning and nobody sees that. Nobody sees me. Nobody see that I'm drowning. Nobody see that, I'm just keep drowning over and over again. The same dreams, the same lies, the same story. I'm tired. So now I got to make a difference. I'm tired. Can't treat me no more like I treated myself. If I stop treating myself the way I treated myself, why am I going to let somebody else come into my world and treat me the way I treated myself? I can't do it. So I be quiet. I'm humble now. I can't even believe in me sometimes. I have to pinch me. I have to grab my shoulders and hit myself. I'm like, boy, Renee, you have changed. Everything that used to set you back, everything that would make you yell and go off and take a drink and get high and be gone for 4 or 5 days. Man, Renee, you changed. You know why I changed? Because I wanted to change. Nobody helped me hostage no more, remember? So I wanted all the things that I could get for myself. And that the biggest one was change. The biggest one was free from drugs and alcohol. And I thank God. I thank God for change. I thank God for putting certain peoples in my life. I don't want everybody in my life. That's why I don't let everybody come to my house. I don't want, only way I can invite a demon in is to let them in. So I nurture my door. Who comes in my door? Because sometimes you letting demons and spirit comes in your house, and then when they leave, it's still stuck. It's still here. So I monitor who comes in and out of my house. Because it was a time when I was using drugs and alcohol. Anybody and everybody can come into my house and do what they want to do, say what they want to say. And I was okay with it because guess what? I was a dope fiend. I was that crackhead. I was the person that didn't care about myself no more. And so I had to find a way to figure out this disease of an addiction and what it's going to take for me to encounter all the things that I wanted to give up and didn't like about me. And boy, it was a lot. It was a lot. So don't let nobody tell you that coming into recovery didn't make a difference. Can't nobody tell me that coming in recovery you didn't change. If you come into recovery and you still doing the same things you was doing when you was using, and now you ain't using, and you still got them character defects, you still trying to buy coochie in recovery. You still trying to date anybody that'll have you in recovery. You still lying to people's in recovery. You still stealing from people's in recovery. You still making fun of people's in recovery. These are all the things we used to do when we were using. So I ain't coming in recovery to stay the same. I came into recovery to see the difference, to see the example of what people were saying to me, how they changed. I wanted to see it too. I wanted to see that change. I wanted to see how I was that big old liar and how can I stop lying? And the first person I had to start with was me. I kept lying to me over and over and over again. I kept playing games with me over and over again. I kept looking at everybody else, talking about everybody else, but it didn't take, and then I didn't look at me. Girl, I worked on me. So anybody tell you right now that you come into recovery and you don't change, if you don't see a change, then that means you stuck somewhere. So I had to work on everything about me, how I talk, how I look at things, how I understand things, how I let go of people, how I got a choice to let people who in my circle, and that's family members too. I don't care how much I love you. Some of y'all, I had you. Some of y'all, I done took care of you for years. Some of y'all, I done took care of you since you was a baby. I had to learn how to not get your approval to how I'm going to feel. I don't need nobody approval. As much as I love family members, I had to let go. I had to let go. You know, because see, don't nobody, they can tell you, well, God loves everybody. He wants us to love everybody. God didn't say be stupid. God said love everybody. God didn't say something that's toxic for you to keep on letting it be toxic for you. Because now I'm forgetting about, I'm nurturing me, and then I start nurturing somebody else. See, I learned the difference that, you know, the way I treat me is the way you gonna treat me. And if you can't treat people's right and be nice and not be convenient for you, or when you want some money, or when you need this, or why you do this, and then turn around and talk to you like you ain't nothing. No, that's toxic for me. That's toxic. I used to get high behind that. I'm telling you that now. And I refuse to get high because of somebody else's selfishness and because of somebody else's pain. I can't. I can't afford to lose me no more. Because you know why? Let me tell you why I can't afford to lose me no more. And that's why some of us still clean. That's why most of us still clean. I can't afford to lose me because it took me so long to find me. Now, I'll tell you that with all honesty. It took me a long time to find me. So I'm never gonna lose me again. Because I went through too many roads and I went through too many turns. I went too many stretches to find me. And I promise you, God, I promise you, I said, God, I promise you, I'll never lose me no more. Because I was lost. See, for those who don't know, for those you don't know how lost people's been, y'all don't know how we have sat in alleys and we have sat in garages and we have sat in cars or we have smoked in a basement. We have sat there just thinking about every pain that was created upon us along with our own pain that we created. So I ain't losing me no more. because it took me so long to find me. I had to go through some, thank you, God. I had to go through some tears. I had to go through some crying. I had to go to some hitting my head on the table to find me all over again and learn how to deal with the new me. Learn how to let God create some things in me that he took time to show me about me. I'm never getting high again on no circumstances. He done been too good to me. I'm too scared that if I go get high, and I know God ain't a punisher, but I'm just too scared if I go get high, I'm gone. I ain't coming back. I won't make it back. Because, see, I was one of them people when I left and got high, you didn't see me for 4 or 5 days. Or when I got high, I didn't stop. Even when the money ran out, I found money. I had to do some things that was ugly to get money so I can continue to get high. It's a wonder my heart didn't pop. No, or real talk. I'm talking about real talk. If you're going to talk about real talk about what we have to go through to be clean. We have to take some stuff still because we clean. We have to intercede some things that come from people that still stuck and still treat it and nurture it differently. I can't do it. I worked too hard on me to find me. When we were lost, we was like walking in the wilderness. We was totally lost. So the ones that didn't do crack, the ones that didn't do alcohol, or the ones that wasn't addicted to none of that, then you wouldn't understand. But for the ones that's been addicted, for the ones that did crack, that did pills, that did everything they could get to feel good, then we know that it ain't even easy now. It's just better. We learned to find a way to deal with it better. But I'm not finna go through the hurt no more. That means if I have to put myself aside and be absent from some peoples, that's what it's gonna take. My heart has been broken. Your heart has been broken. My heart has been broken over and over and over and over. And so many people think they know me, but they really don't know me. They just see me. They don't understand me. They don't know the hurt that we go through, but we still smile beneath that hurt. But I'd rather smile than to get high. I'd rather smile than to run. I'd rather smile than to take a drink. Because it's easy to do. So many people have lost their clean time because they took their will back. And my self-will is all on God. I ain't taking nothing back. It took so long to find me. I'm not finna be running to find me all over again. I know what it takes to stay clean. And if anybody want to continue to use, I'm sorry, I ain't with you. Because see, you didn't hit the rock bottom I hit, or you didn't hit the rock bottoms that the people's on here done hit. You haven't understand and endured the pain that we went through to get to where we at today. And you think I'm gonna lose me all over again? You think I'm gonna go to that dungeon and become another the crackhead that I once was? Never will I do that. I'll die first. God can take me out. I ain't going back to that pain. It was too much for me. That pain was so much, I didn't even know how to deal with it. I just got high just to get high. Every day I got high. Every day I got high. Every day I drank. Every day I popped pills. I lived to use and used to live. That's a true saying, because that was me. I lived to use and used to live every day because I had lost me. And when you lose yourself, you lose a gift that God know he created in you, that he brought you through some storms without you even knowing you was in the storm. I mean, he brought me through some storms that I didn't even know that was seen. He brought me through some unseen storms that he know that he helped me out. He guided it. He moved it. So I don't ever want to lose me again. Because, the people that I know, like Blanche, my friend, is like Robin, it's like, people that I really, really know, Like my aunt, I can even use my auntie Evelyn. I can use my sister. You know, when God done brought you through some things, you know, I love my auntie. She went through breast cancer and she clean now. I believe she's 78 or 79. I always mess up Aunt Evelyn. But God done brought her through some things. And see, everybody things that he brought us from is different. Some of them is the same, some of them not. But I ain't trying to lose me all over again. I worked too hard. I studied too long. I worked the steps. I talked to God. I changed my life. I changed the way I think. I changed the way I act. Sometimes I'll be mad as heck. But you won't even know it. Unless I just tell you know what, that wasn't right. You know, but see, it was a time that I check your butt. I go off and then go get high. So yeah, I'm proud of me. Y'all supposed to be proud of y'all. When we know we ain't where we used to be. We know that. I never go back to using. The way God has treated me. God ain't let me go without. He ain't let y'all go without. God has kept us through the night, through the day. Look, it's finna be another year. Renee, did you ever think you would have saw 2026? Be honest. No. But he saw something in us that we didn't see then, that we see now. And that he loved us and never gave up on us, always carried us when we thought he wasn't paying attention or wasn't carrying us. God was carrying us through. That's why I'm so grateful to him. We ain't went without no eating. We ain't went without no lights. We ain't went without being homeless. See, I can talk about it because I know some of our peoples are still struggling. Still trying to find themselves. Still trying to figure out why they keep using. Why do they keep making the same mistakes over and over again? But when you find a God of your understanding, like I got mine, he got my back. He's always had my back. You know, I had to tell God for all the peoples I've harmed. Even if I did things to my kids or didn't do right. But I'm tired of getting accused of things that I know I didn't do. I'm tired of you trying to hold me hostage. And every time something come up. You know, I love these kids I got. I love my daughter in Mississippi. I love my son. Oh yeah, by the way, he get out Tuesday. My son get out of jail Tuesday. I told y'all about that. You know, that I had to turn it over. It was too big for him. You know, my son come home Tuesday. So I don't know what my son did to get out, but I know he pleaded his case because he knew I would have been hurt if he wasn't here for my 65th. But that's my golden birthday. I love my son. I don't like this drinking. I can't change that. I can't change nobody's habit but mine. And I had a bad habit. Hey, Pastor Ray. There go my brother. Hey, Pastor Ray, you need to call me. I had to change my whole life around in order to love me all over again. So I'm so proud of Robin. I'm so proud of Blanche. I'm very proud of my auntie. I'm proud of Ray. No matter what Ray go through, Ray still ain't giving up on God. And that's what I love about the people that's in my life. You know, everybody ain't where we at. They ain't got there yet. You know, I got there because I wanted to. I wanted to find Renee that was lost. I wanted to understand the Renee that was lost. I wanted to find what made Renee hurt so bad. I wanted to find out what caused Renee to want to take her own life. I needed to find that. I needed to find that. And I always tell anybody on here, I always speak life. I always speak possibilities. I always speak hope. I always speak about God. I always speak about don't let nobody steal your joy. Because when you come into recovery, you are responsible for your own joy. If you think that other people's is going to be responsible for your joy, you're wrong. You have to be responsible for your own joy, your own joy that you give to you. Because some people like to see you in misery. Some people like to see you not growing. Some people like to see you stuck. Some people like you better when you were stuck and not growing and was using, because they can use you some more. But guess what? The buck stopped there, because now you can't use me. Now you can't hurt me. Now you can't punish me over and over again. I ain't letting you in. Matter of fact, I removed myself. And it hurts me dearly. But I had to remove myself. Because I'm tired of being clean. You know, I love being clean, but tired of feeling the same feels when I get to certain people. So, you know, God said, Renee, sometimes in order to see your growth, you have to step back. You have to let go. And not mean to pick it back up. Not meaning, because once I let go of something, it's gone. I'm done. However God work it out, fix it, that's on him. But I let go, because evidently it's been very painful for me to learn how to let go. And now that I learned that, it's self-worth. You got to count on self. You can't count on nobody else understanding your thoughts and your pain and your growth. You can't do that. Can't do it. I had to become willing to let God restore me the way he see me. I had to. Because if I didn't, guess what? I would be getting back high. Yeah. I ain't letting nobody come in my world drinking or getting high. Simple. And I told my friend, I can't do it. You're an alcoholic. You won't even accept it. So why in the world I'm going to try to fix, manage, and control you when I couldn't fix and manage and control my own life when it came to drugs and alcohol? I ain't got time for it. God have been too good to all of us on this site and the ones that's coming up on the site. Hey, Auntie Wanda. She been falling asleep, bless her heart. Love you and my auntie. I got 2 aunties on there, and you know, God has shown me favor. I think, let me get off here, because I done went over y'all. Y'all know I get excited talking about the will of God and how he have changed our lives, and how the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous have brought me wisdom to know that I can grow and grow and grow. So when you get into your life and you become clean, hey, Felicia Brown, good to see you. When you get into recovery supposed to mean something special. It's supposed to mean you found you again. I'm sure that Blanche and Robin and Felicia and hey, Miss Brown from I'm sure that y'all done found something on this site that has delivered you or helped you or you found some better understanding. Yeah. I lost me for a long time. And now that I found us, now that we find ourselves, finding ourselves all over again, we want to keep that. We don't want to lose it. Girl, I worked too much. I did too much studying and sponsor, service work, to go on to meetings. I didn't miss a meeting. I didn't miss a meeting. I needed every meeting I had, because when you come into recovery and you learn about addiction and you learn that anything can be a death threat, anything can be a setback, you know, so you have to learn about yourself and understand that the girl you looked for, see, I looked for me, but I didn't know how to find me. But one day, when the God of my understanding introduced me to the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous, they helped me find me all over again. Now, what makes you think I'm going to go back and get high and go back to doing the things that I did when I was lost? And now that I'm clean and now that I found me again, why would I go back and do that all over again? God, I'm ready. I'm ready. Whatever you got to throw at me. When I lost my mother, and you know what? I'm going to tell you something. And when I say this, I say it all the time I can. Those of you that got a mama, take care of her. Because I miss mine. I miss my mother. I miss her every day. I miss my son. But see, that was the biggest test for me. The bigger test for me is now Satan said what you gonna do. You going down that road all them miles and you finna bury your mother. Now what you finna do? Where your God at now? He said to me, where's your God at now? And I couldn't do nothing but cry. And then I heard a soft voice say, Renee, I'm right here. Deal with it. Deal with it. And I dealt with it. That was the hardest thing. That was the hardest thing. To say goodbye to my mother. Even when I was bad. Even when I would be mean. Even when I say things to my mother, she still loved me. In my addiction, she never let me know that she didn't love me. She didn't like the things I was doing, but that's a mother that can look beyond your faults, look beyond your dirtiness, your ugliness, and still grab you and hug you and say she loved you. That was the type of mama I had. I wasn't always good, y'all. But she never downed me. Man. And every day I thank God. My auntie knows how my mama was. Peg, my mother loved everybody. She didn't see the wrong in nobody. Everything she saw in you had to be good in her eyes. And that's where I'm trying to get. I'm trying to follow my mother's footsteps. Do you know how many times I said to myself, oh, I wish we could have did this, or I wish I hadn't said that to my mama. I wish I hadn't hurt my mama's feelings. My addiction played a big part in that. But then I was so glad that God helped find the new Renee, and my mother got a chance to see me clean. She got a chance to be my process in my clean time. So let me tell you something. Don't let nobody make you feel like you're not loved or you're not. Don't let nobody make you think that you don't love yourself. We all got things we have to carry. But it ain't the things that we carry. It's how we carry the things. That's the difference. How we carry the things. Even the bad things we got to carry. You know, when my son got locked up and they told me my son wasn't going to be here, I already know my daughter wasn't going to be here because she made it clear she wasn't coming. I was okay with that. I told y'all that. I changed. I changed. I can't make other people's happy. I have to contribute making myself happy. But when they called and said my son get out Tuesday, I said, see God, I told you, said God is too big for me. You take it. I ain't got nothing to do with it. He got to learn accountability and some acceptance. And why I get a call? He get out Tuesday. Everybody know I love my kids. But everybody also know I'm going to tell my kids when they wrong or right, too. But I'm glad. I'm glad he got out. I hope this one worked. I hope this is the last time. I love my kids. Y'all just really wouldn't know. But I also love me. You're right, Auntie. I have to stay in my comfort zone. And that's where I'm at. I'm in my comfort zone. I ain't let nobody come into my circle that don't mean. Don't y'all let nobody come into y'all circle that's coming to hurt you or still blame things. You know, blamers always think they life perfect. They never look at what they all done. They always blaming. But they don't take accountability of looking at they ain't perfect neither. What mistakes did you make? Oh, how many do I know? Oh, how many times I forgave you the same way my mama forgave us. Man, if I could be like my mama, it's a winner. Because she loved everybody. And my mother would be proud of me like my auntie told me. My mother would be proud of me. She was one of them peoples that would say, baby, I am so proud of you. Because she know the old Renee. She knew I was on them drugs. But she prayed for me. To the God of my understanding, she prayed for me. So I thank y'all. I thank y'all so much. And you know what? We had to grow to learn how the best is in us. See, I found out the best me. You know, any other time, the best me was lost. But God helped me find that. And I'm finna get off because I wanted to tell y'all we are on step, I believe we are on step 8 for Sunday. We are on step 8. We made a list of all persons. Now check this out now, because this is a good step. Because this is what I was telling you, that we had to do work on ourselves. We made a list of all persons we had harmed and become willing to make amends to them all. Now you tell me there ain't no job. That's a job. But I did it because it was told for me to do it. So I can free myself, free yourself. But look, thank y'all so much. I done went over. I love y'all, all the ones that come on the site, the ones that come out the site. Blanche, I love you, baby. Auntie Eldon, I love you so much. You know I ain't good with the phones, but I get it every now and then. Auntie Wanda, you know I love you. Y'all both been a good supporter in my life. To my sister, Evangelist Selena Green, I love you. You know, did I tell you me and my sister used to bump heads too? I mean, we had like we couldn't stand each other, but guess what God did? God fixed and managed and control that. We was young and dumb. We grew up. Now we love each other and we have each other back. I mean, we have each other's back. That's growth. You know, I had to say that. Thank you for the other names, the Blanche, Tim. Thank y'all for coming on. I hope I've enlightened some things. I hope y'all I've said something that was helpful. You know, I always ask God to bless my tongue before I get on here, you know, because I need to, you know, and Evelyn, and I like to say this too while she on here. Evelyn, I am so glad you are cancer free. Her and my mother used to talk every day. Evelyn, thank you for encouraging words. Thank you for being like mama. She never judged nobody, no matter what they done done. I never hear Evelyn say anything. I thank you. I thank y'all to, I just thank y'all. Y'all don't know what y'all do for me. I'm going to be honest. You know, this is for me. You know, this is for me to say and hear what comes out my mouth, to know just how much I have grown. And I am so proud of me. And, you know, and every day I want to keep being able to say, I am so proud of me, because I had to let a God of my understanding come into my life and help me navigate the things that I needed to work on. And he's done. He's done that. And I'm very grateful. I thank y'all. Sunday we'll be on step 8, and I just told you, you know, I hope y'all stay safe. Merry Christmas is coming up. I'm finna be 65. It's a blessing. I never thought I would see 65. I promise to God I didn't. You know, and every day I thank him for, you know, if I can make, if he got me long as 70, 72, I'm okay. You know, my mama left here in 70 when she was 72. If I can make it to that, I'm grateful for that. Whatever he chooses to do, I turned my life around. And that's the promise that I made him when I came into the 12 step of Narcotics Anonymous, that I won't let nothing take me back. I lost me. but I found me. And that's the blessing in the story, is that I found me all over again. But the difference was, I'm the better me. I ain't that other me. I'm the better me. So I thank y'all. Have a good night. Auntie Evelyn, Selena, Auntie Tim, and some of the names. Blanche, definitely Blanche. Thank y'all so much. You're right, Auntie Evelyn. He's a mighty God, because he's been a God in my life, and he's somebody I'm finna keep as long as I can in my life. Y'all have a good night. And if you haven't said someone that you love them, tell them you love them, and be nice and kind to peoples, because that's what I'm learning. It don't cost nothing to be nice and kind to somebody. Even if you know they faults, you can still be nice and kind with somebody. Even when people's facing addiction or going through addiction, or you see them struggling in addiction, I'm still ain't gonna mistreat nobody. I just ain't gonna do that. And thank y'all for just listening. And thank you for being a part of my process. And thank you for helping me be a part of my process. Good night. See y'all Sunday from 2 o'clock to 3. I love y'all. Good night.